Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I want to have a chat with you about in this episode is what a stressful week it's been this week. I think first off, we'll get the hat-based jokes out of the way straight away. I'll show you a bit towards the end where I am, but I've just perched my phone on a rock. I'm in like a little cave, rather nice actually, so I'm keeping my eye out for any pesky ramblers coming to disturb it, but it's quite quiet up here. So I've took myself away for a few days, and I'll be honest with you, I'm perched on the most uncomfortable rock you can imagine. But anyway, it's what we do, isn't it? So this week has been a very, very stressful week. Nothing catastrophic, if I'm being honest with you. You know, nothing too traumatic. It's just, in many ways, it's part and parcel of running a business. I don't believe that I suffer from stress. But every so often you do get stressed, you do get down, you do get frustrated. And this week I've definitely felt it. There's been a few things. I think customers in general, love them or hate them, it's part and parcel of running a business, unfortunately. And they do throw problems up. But I try and see the funny. So I went to a customer this week and I was mowing. And basically, I ended up mowing over a dead squirrel. And it didn't stand a chance. And it was, at the time, I assumed it was dead because it absolutely stunk. And it just, I won't go into detail, but it didn't shred it. It's not like it's a teddy. But it split. It was everywhere, basically. It was horrible. And, okay, you know, my fault. You know, you should be watching where you're going, but it's like anything, it's 2 seconds off the thing, isn't it? So I finished packing up and a customer come out. She goes, "Oh, have you seen it then?" I says, "What's that?" She says, "That squirrel, it's been here since you last went. I've been pouring bleach on it every day to keep the smell down." And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm thinking, is she expecting me to pick a squirrel up? You know, and don't get me wrong, in hindsight, if she, it was how she said it. I'm probably making it sound a little bit more melodramatic, but how she said it, it was like, you should have done it last time. You've missed it last time, sort of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, if you'd have said to me at the start, "Look, Sam, I know there's a dead squirrel on my lawn. Please just be careful. Or would you mind just, you know, doing away with it, putting it in the bin?" I would have. But she knew about it. She never mentioned it. And like I said, her grass grows up quite quick. So, you know, it's one of them really. It was only a small squirrel, to be fair. It's not like it's, you know, but you know. So that sort of wound me up. This week I've had car problems, or should I say van problems. The van has got a couple of check engine lights. So, yeah, so I had AA out. Well, I had a mobile mechanic. So a friend of mine, he recommended me somebody. And he come out, he was useless, let's just say. He diagnosed, well, he didn't diagnose anything. He plugged it in. "Oh, I can't see anything." I said, "Okay. Do you want me to clear the codes for you?" I says, "So there is codes." "No, but I can turn the lights off." I'm like, okay. And I'm not a car guy, so I don't know if that's true or not. So I ended up having the AA come out, and they went down the route of diagnosing it or having a look at it. But it wasn't an AA guy that come out. It was basically he turned up. I said, "Oh, are you a mechanic?" Because he wasn't in the AA uniform, he just turned up in a van. He says, No, he says, "I'm not a mechanic." I said, "Okay." He says, "Well, I don't know what I am actually, really, a technician, I suppose." I'm like, so he plugged it in and he got a few error codes after about half an hour. So, you know, sometimes, and the ethos for this video and the point of this video is you're self-employed and basically, you know, you are self, so use yourself to keep employed, basically. So I've just rung up the garage that I normally go to. I should have done it from the start, but I've had it in the past where they can clear the code, just turn it off, like reset it, and it works. You know, I do believe in the cheapest thing first, opposed to leaving it with a garage for a day, moving a day's worth of work away, and then, you know, the garage charging you, you know, it's the downtime plus that fee, basically. I think my garage charges 40 quid for a diagnosis. I am thinking about getting my own little diagnosing pack. This rock is so uncomfortable, Jesus Christ. So I'm going to sort of probably think about getting something like that anyway. So I've got it booked in. It's going to be next Thursday. I've spoke to the garage. They've put the error codes into their little computer later thing, and they reckon it's going to be about £500 odd for these repairs. It's a sensor and a glow plug issue, and then I've got the brakes to get serviced or done at the back with. So, but like I said, it does stress me. That's like one thing. The general sort, and I think sometimes when your guard's lower, you know, you let things get through to you basically. So that wound me up. And then I've had a bit of a conversation with a customer today. I'm gonna have to get rid of him. I've worked for him for a few years now. He's an elderly guy, and he's getting on, and he's just getting more demanding, more. So I go to him every fortnight. The next door neighbour, I used to go every fortnight, but I've gone to him once a month now because there's just not enough work at the next door neighbour's house. My customer, who will go fortnightly, the old guy, he's always been really good. He'd give me some jobs to do. Once they're done. You know, he was never sort of, you must do the 2 hours. This time around, like just lately, he's been very, don't want you going early. Make sure you are doing the 2 hours today, sort of thing. I'm thinking, well, that's a change to a norm. But, you know, if a job takes 2 hours, yeah, and he gives me the jobs. And then, because I go only 4 weeks to the next door, this somehow has become the biggest problem in his life because he no longer knows where he is with me anymore. I says, well, you don't need to worry about when I go to next doors. He says, well, I know when, I can see you there, so I know you're going to come, you see. But if you're going to go in once a month, I says, no, I've told you I'll be there at your property once a fortnight. He is also getting on, so he's struggling to do the lawns. So he's been telling me he's struggled to do the lawns. I says, look, because I realistically, if he keeps on top of the lawns himself, I only need to go to his property once every 4 weeks. So I've said to him, no, I'll be there every fortnight. And he's like, oh no, well, I says, I'll come for the grass. You know, I says, look, it's like today, I was supposed to have gone to him last week. There was a bereavement, and he ended up cancelling because of that, so that's fine. So I says to him, look, do you want me to come today for you? He said, oh no, I'm here, there and everywhere. I says, Luke, do you want me to come and get the grass sorted for you? Because I know, he says, no, I'll get my lad do that. I'm like, okay. So, you know what I mean? It's like he's constantly changing. He chewed me ear off because I should have called him Monday. I says, no, I'll call you, you know, I'll give you a call next week, as in the week from the day of the visit. Never gave him any specific date. So he said about that. And then he sort of chewed, he had another pop a bit later on in the conversation saying that you said you were going to call me Monday, but you didn't. I says, I don't come to you on a Monday. I always call you before I come. I says, so it doesn't, I says, look, I don't remember saying to you I was going to call you Monday. I says, so I can't really, I says, let's just change the subject. So anyway, so like I said, he's just constantly sort of changing the goalposts all the time, you know. So I think I'm just going to get rid of it. And in the grand scheme of things, it's £40 a fortnight, you know, or realistically probably £40 a month if it's, you just don't know with him. So I'm going to drop him a text in a little bit, just saying to him that, you know, I'll make my excuses. There's another customer where he's a prolific late payer, and it's quite a big amount. So I always think you've got two sort of money. You've got, you know, when you do like your little £25 lawn cuts, your £30 lawn cuts, your £20 grass cuts, it takes a lot of them to pay off a big bill. But when you have a customer that pays £150, £250, £200, £300, £100, you're getting close to either paying off that full bill or that bill. So as such, I don't structure it as I know I'm going to get it, but, you know, I know when my bills come out, I know towards the end of the month, I need to start putting money away for so I use the beginning of the month to pay for the kit and the equipment and all the other stuff, luxury stuff. And then the middle of the month, I sort of start putting money back into the savings, so to speak, you know, into different pots, whatever. And then I use the sort of the last 10 days of the month, or last week or 2 weeks, whatever. I use that to pay for the end of the month bills. So as such, you know, this guy's amount, which is 150, and the other big amounts, I almost designate that to sort of put away for the bigger bills basically. And it's getting now where it's a fortnightly visit. He had to send over double the amount because he missed two invoices, and I'd been chasing him for them, and he's done the exact same thing again. I rung him up today, and I just said to him, look, you've missed another invoice off. Can you please use the invoice numbers on your bank statement, on your bank as a reference, so we can keep track of him? Because at the end of the day, I know if he's not paid, and if he's getting a bit thinking, oh, well, he can look on his bank statement and go, well, I paid that invoice 466, opposed to trying to work out times and dates. To be fair on him, he's never been, I'm making excuses here, he is a businessman, and he's here, there and everywhere, and he's running a big business. But at the same time, I take on his property, I do the above and beyond stuff, so he doesn't have to worry about it. I do like other little things to make his life easy. The least he can do is pay me, and it's easy. You can set up a direct debit. I've been going to him now for 6 months. So even if he sets a direct debit up and I can't come to one visit, the trust is there that, I'll backs it back to you. I'll knock it off the next bill. I've got customers that pay me in advance for when they go away, because they know that they're forgetful, or they might forget. So they'll pay me before they go away. So if they do forget, well, they don't have to worry because they paid me. I genuinely think running a gardening business, you will get a lot of this. You'll get a lot of, it's what you're willing to put up with. I honestly think, listen to what people say on the internet, listen to your friends and family, but use your judgment. Don't try and apply somebody else's business and strictness to your business. Because when you're just starting out, and if somebody says to you, well, if I have a problem, I'll just fuck them off, I get rid of them, cancel, well, it works for their business because they're established, they've got somebody else to fill that slot straight away. But for you, it might be detrimental. As I said, it's all about what you're willing to put up with, and this is why I try and give both sides. So, like I said, I have been a little bit stressed. How I deal with stress is, there's a few different ways. You need to find people that you can talk and not confide in. But I think us as blokes, we keep things, I don't, if I'm being honest with you, but I know a lot of blokes, they keep things pent up, and then that can lead to problems. For me, I've always been, if I have a problem, I talk to somebody. But in the past, it's been finding the right people to talk to. And I think that's what you need to do. You need to find the right people to not only talk to and confide in, but ask for advice. There's no point asking, your mate Sheila, who's never run a business, who likes you, and has got no idea on how to run a business, about the intricacies of your business, because at the end of the day, they will just give what they think you want to hear. As well, within every friend and family group unit, there's always a portion of the friend and family unit that's or one, hopefully one, that they're your friends, they're your family, but because they've never done it themselves, whether it's being overcautious or what, they don't want you to do it or get past their level. So they could say stuff to keep you held down, or, well, because we've never done it, we've never had a business, why should you, sort of thing. So basically talk to people. For me, doing this helps. I've always said this. This is so numb. Me talking on this helps me because it gets it off my chest. I've got a phone full of videos that never see the light of day, where I'm talking about issues and talking about problems, and it does help. Even putting stuff pen to paper. So for me, I'm trying to be as cautious with my finances as possible. I'm trying to invest into the business, invest into the kit, invest into my future. I'm trying to pay my running bills, my running costs, and live a good life, put money away for winter, and invest back into the business with new tools. So roughly, it's not me living lean, or, I have to be very cautious and I have to look ahead. So if you're still on this video, you're getting some bonus footage. I've just bought a new vehicle for the business. It's a 4x4. I'm super looking forward to getting it, if I'm being honest with you. I've always wanted one. So I'll show it when it's ready. And I'll talk a bit more about why I've decided to buy one. But that for me is going to be a weight off my chest, because when I get it, it's going to solve the issue of downtime if there's a van problem. It's going to solve other issues I've had within the business, and as well, it's going to make other things in even the personal life a lot more easier and a lot more better. But even that, the cost of that, I think, spitballing, I reckon I'm about £4,500 into it at the moment. So I've got to look at my finances. This is why I'm saying about pen to paper sort of thing, is look at your finances and put it on pen and look ahead. So I've all, and this is the thing, I'll talk a little bit more about this as money. It's, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a more pleasant form of misery. And I think having money issues, it affects everybody, because no one wants to eat crap food, no one wants to not go on holiday, no one wants to thingy. And I think sometimes it's like, now we're halfway through August and winter's coming, all that sort of stuff. So I'm sort of being very cautious when it comes to spending. So part of me thinks this £4,500 would it have been better staying in the pot for winter, but then part of me thinks, well, you know what, we've got 3 more months to fill that pot back up. So I won't be ahead by £4,500, but I'll be in the same position that I am now, but with a nice vehicle, something I've always wanted. And it's sad, because when I tell you what it is, you might go, but it's actually one of my favourite cars. But I think mental health is important. At the end of the day, if my van breaks down, I can't go to work, but I can do other forms of work. If you break down, well, you break down really, don't you? So like I said, look after yourself, find people you can confide in, find people you can trust. I'll show you where I am. So, a little cave. Woo. Very spooky. So we're actually at Castleton, would you believe? So yeah, I'm going to be here for a few days, chilling out, relaxing. And for me, this is not what I live for, in air quotes, but it's very much, this is what I enjoy doing, this is what I enjoy, and this is what I look forward to. And you've got to have something to look forward to, you've got to have something to live for, you've got to have something to aim for, because otherwise, what the fuck are we doing it for? So, have a good day, guys. As usual, keep on gardening.